D.C. Our chief Washington correspondent Peter Cook is with us now. He's on the Hill. He has a member of the House Democratic leadership with him who is warning his colleagues about the risk of inaction. Peter.
Thanks very much. I'm joined by Congressman Peter Welch of Vermont, the Chief Deputy Whip here for the Democrats in the House of Representatives. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it. You just heard a little bit what Ron Paul had to say about the threat of Moody's downgrade, your own assessment about what that would mean for the country and whether or not your colleagues here in the House understand the implications.
It's very bad. I mean, we have a credit rating downgrade and our interest costs go up. If they went up 1%, that's $160 billion additional cost to the American taxpayer. So whether you're in the Republican position or the Democratic position, that hurts. That digs the hole deeper. So the credit watch and the warnings that they're giving us are real signals that we have to pay our bills and not put into question the absolute history that we've had in this country of always paying our bills.
Right now we're hearing the White House talks turned testy yesterday. There's a lot of tension in that room. No clear sign of a deal that's emerging. Given the threat now from Moody's, perhaps S&P as well, where do you think this stands right now?
Well, we're going to raise the debt ceiling. One way or the other, we're going to raise the debt ceiling. The question for Congress is, are we going to do it responsibly? Are we going to do it in a timely way? Or are we going to get pistol whipped by the bond rating agencies and also the bond market? So it will be done. But we have to do it before the market turns, because when it does, it'll turn suddenly and it will turn savagely. And we want to avert that. It's irresponsible to do that.
I listened to some of your colleagues on the Republican side yesterday say, listen, we can prioritize. We don't want to default, but even if we reach August 2nd, there's a chance to pay off the interest on the debt, to pay our creditors, also pay the military, pay Social Security recipients, and then after that point, pick and choose, but the government has to rein itself in.
Well, we've got 230 plus years of history where we've paid all the bills that we owe when we owe them. So they're coming up with this new theory and really kind of testing whether we can go into default, and then you can manage the default. How is a creditor going to feel if they're the one that doesn't get paid that month, whether it's Social Security or a Medicare provider like a hospital, a veteran, or a contractor who's doing work for the country? I mean, that's just a mess. It's like going into Chapter 7. It makes no sense to do that. The bottom line here is we've got two issues. One, do we pay our bills? America always has. We can't put that in doubt. Second, we've got a long-term challenge of getting to fiscal stability. We're linking those two when the division between us.
But ultimately, Congressman, isn't that long-term deficit projection exactly what Moody's and S&P and these rating agencies are also watching as well? If you don't have serious spending cuts matched with this debt ceiling increase, aren't they going to send a message down the road, if not today?
Well, it's the worst thing we could do is not pay our bills in default, because then that says, and a lot of the reason for the anxiety in the bond agencies is that the institution of Congress is not demonstrating an ability to make the compromises that are required. This is a solvable problem. But if it's going to be solved, it takes a balance of cuts. Democrats have to acknowledge that. But it also is going to require revenues. We have the lowest revenue base since the Eisenhower years, even though we have an increase in the baby boom population needing Medicare and Social Security.
Final question, chances of a deal before August 2nd?
I think I have to be optimistic and say we've got to do what needs to be done, even if we're dragged kicking and pulling across the finish line.
All right. Peter Welch, Democrat of Vermont, thanks for the time. Appreciate it very much. Democrats' perspective on the debt ceiling talks here in Washington. Eric and Deirdre, still no deal.
Still no deal. Peter, thanks so much.